हम दोनों को पता है कि आपके क्लाइंट की आवाज कैसी है, तो फिर आप लोकल की तरफ पता नहीं आएगी, नहीं आएगी, कब आएगी, तो बचा कौन?
Good morning, Dr. Deepak.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. In fact, we will start in a minute. Yes. So, hello, namaste, namaskar, good afternoon, good morning, or maybe even good evening in whichever part of the world you are joining us from. My name is Deepak R. Khemani. I am one of the co-founders of Bloom, along with my other co-founders, Abhijit Sansgiri and our CEO, Payal. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to a very special episode which we are doing today. In all the 289 weeks, whenever we have had a guest on our show, we have seen his or her face, we have had a topic, we have had a brief introduction. Today is the time where everything changes because we have a very special guest with us today. But before we start today's program, it's time to remember a person who suddenly left us 2 days back. A towering personality, a past president of the Professional Speakers Association of India, and one of the only person who, if I can say that out of the 288 episodes already conducted by Bloom, I'm sure he was there on all the 288 episodes. A well-wisher, a confidant, somebody who was always ready to help, always ready to guide, suddenly took his last breath yesterday, day before yesterday, leaving us all shocked. Mr. Harish Mehta, you can see him on the screen. What I would request all of us to do is spend the next 1 minute in silence, one, remembering him, cherishing the moments we spent with us, understanding and taking in all the knowledge and his experience which he shared with us. So for one moment, we will just go mute and we will try and remember him and pray to the Lord that at whatever place he is, he may be in peace. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Abhijit, sir, if you would like to start.
So we have a very unique speaker speaking on a very unique topic of oneness. And his name is Onali Rupani. and he's an investment banker. He's based out of UK, but he travels to India too often. And we're speaking on the absence of oneness. So I'll start first by asking him that with a very commercial background and a very distinguished education background, how did you come up to practice or be in the field of oneness? And what is oneness? And what is absence of oneness?
So thank you very much for having me today. Abhijit ji, Deepak ji, Payal ji, thank you so much for extending your invite. You asked most difficult questions of my life, that how did I come across oneness? What is truly oneness? And how do I practice oneness? Very important fundamental questions. I can't convert into a life story right now, but in the most precise manner, what I would say is first 35, 36 years of my life, I was in the quest of few answers that I was looking for. That who you are, who truly you are, and what is your purpose of life. Now, these questions definitely haunt everyone, but it's very difficult to find these answers. And we know the concept where that a deer is running across the forest, and the kasturi smell is there, but is not able to figure out where that beautiful odor is coming from. So that's how life is. And accidentally, while I accepted an offer to serve somebody unconditionally, I attended a program, and it was hosted by me without not knowing the name of the speaker, without not having any relationship with him. And I happened to do their book launch. Now, investment banker getting into an event was absolutely unheard of, but that is what was the transforming moment for my life. That gentleman explained me how to decipher your true purpose and how to decipher who you are. And in that meeting, I realized the power of oneness and what oneness is truly all about. So I'll begin from a different side because it will be easier for to understand, because that was my path to understand. So what I understood initially was that we all live in absence of oneness. We are very comfortable in this mode. This is our preferred mode. This is our comfort zone. This is where we want to be. We resist change and we want to be in this mode. So what is this mode? This mode is absence of oneness, where we are a separate entity. We have a different identity. We have different human uniforms, and we can't deny, we cannot say that we have same uniform. We have to accept there's a male and female uniform, which are different. We are human beings. So these are all part of being in absence of oneness. We are the most superior race. We have superior talent. We have superior intellect. We are blessed to be humans. We are here to procreate. We are here to build families. We have the gift of all the resources on the planet. We can claim our ownership on the planet. And we have to create generational wealth, and we all have to be part of the race called capitalism, and we educate ourselves to win this race, and we have to find more ethical ways to attract these resources. Leadership is an exclusive club, and we can easily exploit the human animal kingdom and plant kingdom. These are some thoughts that we all agree on. That's how we live our daily lives. So this is how I realized that, okay, this is absence of oneness, and we live in absence of oneness, and in this particular thing. But then something changed. When I came across the understanding and the vocabulary of oneness, what oneness said was that it's the only fundamental truth. I'll repeat again. Oneness is the only fundamental truth. So there are truths of two types. One is the fundamental truth, and there are perceived truths. So perceived truths are many, there are millions and trillions, okay? And you can have your own truth and you can justify. But what cannot change is the fundamental truth of oneness. What does it really mean? That we are all one, we are all interconnected. Now, this is the starting point of oneness. Now, let's see what Einstein had to say about oneness. And we have heard a lot of quotes from Einstein, but never heard a quote on oneness from Einstein. So he said very clearly that we experience life as separated from the rest. It is a kind of an optical delusion that we are living in a bubble. It's an optical delusion. So our task must be to free ourselves from this self-imposed prison. So if you are living as a separate entity, it is a self-imposed prison. And how can you break this prison? So he goes on to say further, it is only possible through power of compassion and reality of oneness. So this is what Einstein explained about oneness. Let's see what Martin Luther King had to speak about oneness. So he says, we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects others indirectly. Then I said, let's see if Mahatma Gandhi had to say something on oneness. So even he spoke about oneness. He said, I believe in absolute oneness of God. When he means God here, he is referring to universal power, no specific God here. And therefore also of humanity. We have many bodies, but one soul. And this soul is the divine power that he is addressing to. So basically, there are people who have spoken on oneness. And they've tried to explain this thought. But unfortunately, we have lived in our comfort zone of absence of oneness, and we want to spend our time there. So oneness does exist, but we have not acknowledged it fully.
So, what exactly for a layman? Because this still is for most of us. I won't say Greek or Latin, but it's too. I would say in an Indian cricket fan buff is Joel Garner bouncer. Simple.
Okay.
So how can one simplify it so that it really touches and makes someone aware, then accept, and then act on the principle if it is benefiting him?
Right. So, as I said, we have to begin with the understanding that do we consider ourselves separate as in individual identities? Okay. So, if we are considering ourselves individual identities, we are living in absence of oneness. Now, what has individual identities and separation given us? Okay. So that is what you need to understand. Taking it a little further from here, let's observe the animal kingdom. Okay. Maybe we'll get a better answer from there. Have you seen any of the animals litter anywhere? Exploit any resources over there? Create any generational wealth for themselves?
No.
And in their own world, they've kept the planet very beautiful. Right? Unfortunately, humans did not have anybody level ahead in terms of their food chain. Because we did not have anybody ahead in our food chain, we started believing somehow that we have dominance on all the resources. We have all the dominance on everything that is available on planet, and we can actually own it. What has actually happened is this human race has become group of cancer cells, nothing less than cancer cells, and we have spread across the entire planet. And this is going to definitely end because we are on the path to finish this planet. We are not on the path to build this planet. Understanding that what we need to do in this case, we can learn from nature. We can see a perfect example of a human body, which is a complete example of oneness. So anybody who denies oneness, I think, should only reflect back on the same human body that has been gifted to that person. Now I'll cover in two phases so that it becomes easier. First of all, referring us as humans is an incorrect terminology. We are not human beings having spiritual experience. So, 2 hours of meditation, 3 hours of satsang, some yoga here and there, that is not spirituality, my friends. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So this is the fundamental understanding that we need to understand and move forward from here. So once you move forward from here, you will realize that people talk about enlightenment. Okay. What is enlightenment? Enlightenment is nothing. There is a lit candle and there is an unlit candle. A lit candle understands who the candle is and what is the purpose of that candle. And an unlit candle is an innocent person who is not aware about it. And most of us fall in that category. But the job of the lit candle is to light the unlit. And once the unlit is lit, there are two candles which are lit. There is no superiority, no juniors, no advantages, no guru, no shishya. You become equals because they both have now a single job to remove darkness. That is how oneness is to be lived. Now, how do you build oneness? Oneness is a truth. You have to live the truth. Okay, so the favorite three lines that actually transformed my thinking in that training program or that book launch was never glorify the truth. Never glorify the truth. Live the truth, and truth will glorify you. And this glorification of you is not the human body, it's of the divine power that exists within you. So these are the stages, and then I realized that all you could do is, so when I got this tool in my hand, I found as if I was next Einstein of the globe, and I knew everything, and I wanted to spread it, and I wanted to take it to the world. And then I heard what Kabir had to say, and 300 400 years back he actually spoke everything related to oneness. And then I realized that this human race was not at all interested. This was already recorded, people knew it, yet it did not transcend. So then I changed my course. I realized that this information or this fundamental truth is only to be used by yourself. And all you could do is build a lens of oneness. Once you build a lens of oneness, try and see the world through the lens of oneness. So, does every person on this planet has experienced oneness? The answer is yes. We all have lived oneness, but maybe the vocabulary of oneness was not available to us. Hence, we could not understand that we were living oneness. How much time would you live in oneness? 5 to 10%. And you have to push yourself many times to live in this mode. The rest of the time we spend in our comfort zone, which is called absence of oneness.
So, when you're talking of a spiritual vocabulary or the oneness vocabulary, and maybe that it's only about 5 to 10% that we live in oneness. So, is there any appropriate or a minimum percentage we should live by, or is it something like we should? What's the right? I would say the
Okay.
Webster's dictionary we should carry with us so that we speak the right language to oneself.
Right. So first, as we set one thing for sure, that there are two modes. One is the absence of oneness mode, and there's a oneness
The
mode.
oneness.
And we
Yes.
are going to oscillate. So there is no
Yes.
human who can live in oneness throughout. So if somebody comes and claims that I live in oneness for 90% or 99% of my life, I am a oneness guru, please run away from that person as fast as you can. Okay, it's not possible. It's just not possible. So you are going to oscillate between the absence of oneness mode and the oneness mode. Okay, predominantly you're more comfortable in the absence of oneness mode because your mind is running you. If your mind is actually your master, you will be in your comfort zone. But if you learn to make your mind your slave, you will be able to spend more time in the oneness mode. So this is where you're going to oscillate. This is the first part of it. It is easy. It is not at all easy to be in the oneness mode because you do not get real examples in life to see. Though we have heard such amazing personalities clearly speak on oneness. Right? So you're basically, to answer your question, you're going to oscillate between both, and all your successes, all your joys are actually experienced in the oneness mode. All your stress, all your insecurity, all your problems exist because you operate in absence of oneness. And I can explain in detail if anybody has a problem or an issue that they are facing. I can, in real life, I can explain how just changing your mode can change your perspective.
So fine, we have a lot of guests. We'll take questions from them. Just one last question, because I believe a lot of them would have a lot of questions. So one is when we're talking of oneness, and you said making your mind a slave. So what about the mindset which each one has? What about the practice of mindfulness? And again, we talk of 2, 3 things. Again, I'm combining, but yes, I need to combine it in one answer. Is one is we all have our own ego, maybe positive, negative, and I think again a principle when you say is a principle of being integral with oneself or integrity. So how would you link all that?
Right. So let's go back to the spiritual vocabulary that you pointed on. You know,
Yeah.
why do we have conflicts in communication? You know, people say this is my funda, this is your funda, and then somehow we do not agree. We do all begin in the journey together. We are all enthusiasts, curious to learn, and somewhere down the line, it happens that after acquiring certain knowledge or understanding, we then conflict. Okay, the reason we conflict is because of the language and the grammar, not that we want to conflict with anybody at any point of time. So in spiritual vocabulary, setting is very important, I would say, so that you do not, like the definition of ego. The most common definition for a common man would be somebody who's very arrogant, very opinionated, very firm, not ready for any suggestions, and a bad behavior probably is where people feel, or selfish behavior, very strong selfish behavior would be an ego. That's how we generally refer. But in the spiritual world, this is not defined as ego. Ego is defined as a single most impediment to oneness, to knowing your true self, the darkness within you. When you are an unlit candle, that is your ego. So there are two different definitions for the same subject. So in spiritual world, unfortunately, this is how ego is defined. And I'll give you a common example, which will put my point across a little better. Is, you know, if I took a flight from Manchester to Mumbai, I would say and refer myself that I flew from Manchester to Mumbai, right? But technically, I did not fly. I am not equipped to fly. I do not have wings. So how can I say in English that I flew from Manchester to Mumbai? But actually, what I did was I boarded a flight, I took a seat, and the flight took me from Manchester to Mumbai. So if you can get this gap clearly, this is what the point I'm referring to, the spiritual grammar. Unfortunately, we have not spent enough time in understanding the spiritual grammar. Hence, we conflict.
So before Deepak takes over, one more thing on about integrity and being integral to oneself. Are they the same things?
All right. So again, there's a spiritual gap here. So people mix up between integrity and morality. So
Yeah.
true morality is when you do things when nobody's watching you. That is being moral. Okay, that is not being integral. Integrity happens to you when you become integral with the universe, when you become one. Absence of duality is spirituality. When you become one with everybody, at that point of time, you become spiritual. So these are the definitions that you need to understand, and then you can converse.
Right, thanks. So Deepak, yeah, go ahead. It's quite interesting.
Yeah,
I think we would have a lot of questions from the audience.
Yes, yes. And that is what I want to do today. Otherwise, I'm the person who's asking the questions and taking the show forward. But we all remember just 4 days back when we were sitting with him, we spent almost 1.5 hours, 2 hours talking, speaking, asking questions, you know. So since I have been there, what I would now like to do is we have a very varied crowd, you know. Aniket is there right from the very beginning. He talks about the Gita and he, in fact, actually teaches verses of Gita. Satish, you know, I spent 3.5 hours with him just 2 days back, and we were talking about psychology and we were talking about the mind. And I mean, if I start talking with Satish and, you know, probably our guest today, we could spend days talking with each other. So I will not do that, you know. We have Tushar Pradhan, who was the CEO of, you know, HSBC, ex-CEO of HSBC Mutual Fund. Ameya is there. Tanvi is there. You know, we can talk about transcendence and whatnot. So many people are there. So what I will do is today, I will just go mute. I will not ask too many questions. Yes, Tina has raised her hand.
This is Amit here.
Hey, Amit.
Yes.
Tina,
Today my phone battery is down, so I have joined from my wife's phone.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And since you are talking so much and praising this, can this session be for 2 hours rather than 1 hour?
Yeah. You know, Amit, what I can say is Amit and Tina Kothari are one. Oneness.
Okay, got it.
Go ahead. Amit, ask your question.
No, since we are talking about spirituality, my first question would be that when we have followers, like there are cults who are following like Hare Krishna or the Swaminarayan cult, and everybody is praising that this is the only thing and the only truth. if you want to attain the spiritual world or the what do you say, you want to get the enlightenment, you have to follow either Buddha or the Hare Krishna. How does that correlate this, and how does it means I'm not getting the proper word, but how does it get aligned in our lives as a normal human being, and whether we should follow that path for the spirituality or to be something else to get into the oneness?
This is the one of the most difficult questions, as I said, for last initial 35, 36 years. Even I looked at all the cults, all the organized religions in detail, spent years of research to understand what they really want to say. I will quote a story first, a short story, because that story will cover everything. Because if I use any words, it can create conflict, but the story will not create any conflict. So, maybe just you can imagine yourself that you are meeting your old friend after 15-20 years, and your friend has a daughter, and the daughter has delivered a young baby, maybe 7-8 months, and you're visiting them, and the baby is young and curious, and they have a nice balcony, and there's a great moonlight over there, and you because the baby is very curious, you're playing in the arms with the child, and with all the love and compassion that you have the child in your hand, you walk towards the balcony. And suddenly, you realize that the child is pulling your shirt or a pen or your specs. Now, to distract that child, what you do is you raise your finger and show towards the moon. You say, "Beta, look at the moon. Beta, look at the moon." What happens is the child will immediately catch your finger. Okay, you say, "No, no, no, beta, don't catch my finger. Please look at the moon. Please look at the moon." Again, the child is going to catch the finger. This is exactly what happens in spirituality. Okay, you are supposed to become a leader by yourself. You are a unique, extraordinary masterpiece. You have been created in full glory. You are not supposed to follow anything. So your true leadership happens when you know who in you is leading what in you. Unless you don't have these answers, following anything is not going to help you. So all these concepts, all these textbooks, all this organized religion are actually trying to help you. But your problem is you're busy catching the finger. You're not looking at the path that we are trying to show. You don't want to walk that path because we are very lazy. Please prescribe me some medicines, because you don't want to change your habits. Habits are very difficult to form. They take somewhere between 21 days to 90 days, and it becomes your lifestyle when you do it for 90 days. Because we are lazy as humans and we are parked in absence of oneness, we accept this content as a way of life. So accepting them is not a problem. I am not objecting anything, but you have actually not lived your purpose, why you were born. You were not born here to follow a cult or be a part of an organized religion. Religions are nothing but schools of spirituality. They are supposed to teach you spirituality. And it does not matter, just does not matter which school you studied from. So for you, if water is H2O, for me, water is H2O. If I do an international conference in water, everybody will say H2O. There is no conflict on H2O. But unfortunately, religions fight on the same concepts. And that's where they conflict. And they confuse the people. So if they are doing that, you must understand that that is not for you. And oneness is not very difficult, my friend. Oneness is very simple. We are parked either in oneness or absence of oneness. All you got to do is just try and build a lens of oneness. And once you build it, you will find your own answers. And I was speaking at UCLA, and a student asked me, can you tell me 3 steps in which I can help myself understand this better? And I don't know, it just came to me, because if I'm absent, I give my best. When I'm present, even my mind is functional. So I'm like any ordinary speaker who's just trying to impress people. But the real power within you operates when you're absent. So at that point of time, probably I was absent. So 3 stages that came to me at that point of time was, first was self-realization, self-alignment, sorry. First was self-alignment, because you have 3 faculties with you, mind, body, soul, right? So they have to align themselves. Unless they don't align, you don't know the real alignment. You cannot operate. So first you have to learn how you operate. And the second step was self-realization. Realization is nothing but who you are. And you don't have an answer for who you are, you can't move forward in life. So the realization happens only at that stage. And the third stage is self-actualization, when you truly find your purpose. And when you find your purpose, then you acquire skill and the inborn talent that you have, and you start applying it to become a value-adding entity. This is the way of life. So I hope I've tried to answer your difficult question in few words.
Yes,
Thank you.
definitely. But that brings me
You
to
know,
another question.
Yeah.
Ji.
That whether if the
Hold on,
person
hold on,
does
hold
not-
on, Amit, hold on, Amit, hold on.
Okay.
You know, what I'll say is most of the questions and answers today will lead to 2 or 3 more questions.
Yes.
So
yes.
let's park that second thought which is coming. Since we have a full house, you know, maybe even bigger than a full house today, let's
Yes.
give chance to everyone to ask their questions, and then we will revisit. And you know, at some point, that same question or the answer which I am expecting is going to come from some other question or some other answer. That's the whole thing of oneness for you. So let
Yes.
me bring in everybody one by one, and then we will come back and visit where we left off.
So I
Megha.
think this session has to be for 2 hours and not 1 hour.
Yeah, let's see how things work out. So
Yes.
first, Megha, go ahead.
Yes. So you had mentioned that we often oscillate between oneness and absence of oneness. Now, my first question is, do we have to ensure that we move more towards oneness instead of absence of oneness? If that is yes, then why is that needed and how do we do that? And there's one more thing in my mind is, you also spoke about non-duality, living in non-duality. So if I ensure that my action, my thoughts, and my behavior is equal towards everybody, and in whatever work I do or whatever duties I'm responsible for, isn't that enough, or do I need to do more? Yeah, thank you.
Hi. Yeah. So I'll try and do justice in the best possible manner. So you are asking a question on is it necessary to oscillate and move towards oneness? Okay. So I will give you a parallel answer. Maybe then that will become easier for you because it's a very difficult question, and I don't want to make an error in communicating. So there is something like pleasure and joy. So if you understand the difference between pleasure and joy, a lot of life examples or life issues will become simple. So pleasures are experienced by your 5 senses, okay, and joy is experienced by your soul. Now, why are they two different? They sound same in English language, but why are they different? So just imagine that you have been fasting for say 5-6 days. You are very hungry, and you are about to break your fast, and somebody arranges a large table of food of all your choices, or everything that you love to eat, and it's put on the table, and there's no restriction. The first intent of a human is that if you've been hungry or forced to fast, you're going to eat non-stop. You're going to, and all the food that you love is in front of you. So you will keep eating. Now, what happens is in the first stage, when you eat, you feel pleasure because you are hungry and your 5 senses needed those things, and you enjoy that pleasure. And then you say, okay, now because I've been hungry, the body has a habit to store more, so you will eat little more. And say, no, because I've been hungry for so many days, let me go beyond my limit and have little more. And then you want to have little more again, and then you don't know where to draw the line, and you overeat. Now, the minute you overeat, you are in pain.
Yeah.
Right? So similarly, when you spend more time in absence of oneness, initially you are going to be very uncomfortable zone. But you are going to experience all your pains there if you spend more time there. Okay. So the only remedy at that point of time is to move into your in the oneness zone, which is the joy, which is where you experience your soul. So this is how you oscillate. And what is the right percentage? It's absolutely up to you. Whatever makes you comfortable. It's just that you have to be aware that you oscillate. That's it.
Okay. And how, like my second question was, how do we do that? Is it just the awareness that is
Right. It is
enough?
actually very simple. Honestly speaking, I don't want to make it complex because if I make it complex, I become very important in the game. It is not at all complex.
Hmm.
Okay, we are all born. Like our human body itself is a complete example of oneness. Complete example of oneness.
Yeah.
Right? And if you just start studying, I speak this on knowledge as a subject. Our education system has somehow failed us big time. Big time means big time. We know
Hmm.
how the world operates. So today's education system teaches you how the world operates. It does not teach you how you operate.
Right.
Right. And fundamentally, the education should have been at how you operate. Like I spoke about the three stages: self alignment, self realization, and self actualization. This should have been the opening subject for any child.
Hmm.
You should not be expecting this kind of education coming from outside. As a result, our education trains you to win in the world. So you have to be part of the capitalism race. You have to win the race. I'll just digress a little bit and come back because this is one of my favorite topics on knowledge. If you see US today, they have the top 35 universities out of 50 in the world. So they have the right education infrastructure with them. But would you know that 33% of Americans have not cleared 12th grade? Right? That's why they were successful in selecting such a president. So it's because education is not, despite having. Now they made education very expensive. Okay, 45 million children in US have taken education loan to the tune of 2 trillion. Now, just imagine if these children are given jobs, what is their first intent? Their intent is not to be ethical. Their intent is to first pay the loan. So in that society, ethics cannot survive. So if we see what we see today and in the last 2 days what we've heard on the television, it is not a surprise. It's by design. The society has designed themselves, and we are going to actually self destroy ourselves in no time because that's how we are designed. Until and unless we don't understand that we can still be parked in oneness, the entire animal kingdom, the entire plant kingdom is vested in oneness. It's just the humans, that is the spiritual beings, have to realize this. And when this comes in, how I will not be able to predict any of these things, but this exists. It's just for us to realize a human body is a perfect example of oneness. Perfect example. But we don't want to learn from this human body. I've been speaking to a few doctors and I asked them, you're alive and kicking. Do you know how many systems are running within you right now? And said, oh, yeah, there is nervous system, there is digestion. I said, sir, there are 11 systems that are running right now within your body. Are you aware of it? Can you name them? Even doctors have failed to mention more than 8 or 9. Forget the regular people because this is not our subject of understanding. So we don't know ourselves correctly. And then there was this famous dialogue from Munna by MBBS that हमारे में 206 टाइप का हड्डी होता था तोड़ने से पहले हम सोचते नहीं थे. So that is exactly the truth. That we do not know ourselves, hence we do not know where we are operating. And because we don't know where we operate from, we live in insecurity, we live in greed, we live in prejudice, and all these things converts into the ego, the bubble that I mentioned. We live in this bubble. And that's exactly what Einstein pointed out. And he said, this is a self-imposed prison. And your task must be to get out of this prison. And how? Through power of compassion and reality of oneness.
Okay. Yeah. Anything on the
Megha,
non-duality?
Mega, hold
No, I'm
on,
not
hold
asking
on.
my question.
Many people. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is just part of the question I earlier asked.
Go ahead.
If thoughts, words, and behavior, if I am able to align them, is that enough or not? Just on that.
So I do write and I do write some fancy stuff here and there. So I said actually all the diseases first operate in your thoughts. So you have a cancerous thought, you have an obese thought, you have an unhealthy thought. So all your allopathy that you learned, if you just apply it to your thoughts and say, okay, my thought that I got 50, 60,000 thought, you can actually segregate your thoughts and say, okay, ye wala thought hai, ye wala thought hai. And then you see what happens. So I know where you're leading to. let me put it reversely so that it will become easier. So, do you believe in a statement, what you sow shall you reap?
Yeah. Yes.
Show of hands, tell me whether you really believe in this. There's nobody on the planet who would not believe in this. But that take a step back and now let's look at this quote through lens of oneness. Okay? And you will find a strange answer coming through. And let's do this exercise live. So if I sow a habit which is not healthy for myself, okay, I will reap not so good benefits. Very clear. But what if I sow a wrong belief in a family? The generations of those families will suffer. Right? If I sow a wrong policy for a nation, the entire nation would suffer. Now, we generally attribute sowing with our own self, but you sow things for your family. You also sow things for your community, and that could have a generational problems. So, from the oneness point of view, sowing is just not for your to reap. It's not only your karma. It is a collective karma, and you will contribute to the collective karma. And that is how the human race is now a group of cancer cells. So one cell cannot fight and create the change until collectively we decide to come in oneness.
Okay. Yeah. That's definitely leading to a lot of questions, but thank you so much. I would pass it on to others. Yes.
Thank you, Megha. Thank you for asking those questions. We have three raised hands.
Deepak, just a
Bolo,
minute.
yeah.
I think with all this, we should make use whenever Rupani ji is in Mumbai to have a physical session with him,
As I said, no,
with
I
no
was
time
actually
barring.
without asking him, I was actually going to announce later that we will see to it that he attends our 300th Sunday Bloom Talk Show in the physical space, which is coming up in just 11 weeks. So stay tuned. We will try and coordinate and see to it that you and he get a maximum time in answering the questions which are coming up here. I know the kind of topic this is, and one question, one answer will lead to multiple other questions. But let's give an opportunity to everybody. I see, Tanvi has put on her camera, which she rarely does. Hina is there. He asking her to put her camera. Aniket is there. Amiya is there. So we'll take all of you one by one. Aniket first.
Hi, excellent session. And I wanted to know if the concept you're talking about is the same as the Advaita Siddhanta mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita
So
or in
H2O
the
remains
scriptures.
H2O, no matter whether you call pani, water, whatever you want to call it. So don't get caught up in the language, don't get caught up in things, and don't go with the source. The idea is to live the message. So as I said, live the truth and truth will glorify you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aniket. Ameya and then Tanvi. Ameya, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. And so far, absolutely enlightening. So I'm sure that one more candle has been lit somewhere in this world. Really, this conversation. Just one question. We are talking about oneness. Given our day-to-day responsibilities, the way we lead our life, with the kind of habits we've built, what do you think is the best way for us to be in continuous oneness? I know each school of spirituality does teach a technique or so, but is this something that you found has been the easiest thing to adopt that could lead you to kind of instant oneness or a feeling of instant oneness?
Right. So the best technique is what I missed myself today. So let me confess. Okay. So because you raised this and it hit me so hard that I can't tell you, I will never forget you in my life. So let me just finish that exercise which I missed. So divinity in me bows to divinity in all of you.
Absolutely.
Every time you begin with this, you are parked in oneness.
Yeah. So that's the concept of Soham, right?
Yes. So again, we have to get rid of reference. But what happens is knowledge gets parked. And once knowledge gets parked, we are not able to utilize. And we refer because, okay, I have the knowledge. Having knowledge is not important, my friend. Okay, so you have to move from knowledge to action. So how do I use? I can name it any way. As I said, water can be named in any format. Okay, that's why I stop. I don't refer things to. Uh, you might feel that I am being little rude and not giving credits, but in this quest of giving credits, you fall for the trap. So the whole idea is to utilize knowledge. So in 1600th century, somebody said knowledge is power. And I say this today very clearly and openly in all forums, knowledge is not power. Application of knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
Right? So coming back to the first point that you mentioned is, if you acknowledge the divinity in other person and the same divinity within you, you're automatically parked in oneness. Because now you are referring the other person as the divine power. You do not look at the face, you do not look at the mannerism, you do not look at the language, you do not look at the communication, you do not look at the background, you do not ask which caste you come from, which uniform you are wearing, male or female, old or young. All you connect is with the power within that soul. And the minute you respect that soul, automatically you are parked in oneness.
Wow.
And at that point of time, it's impossible to make an error.
Yeah.
So this is the starting point, I would say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's delightful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ameya. Tanvi, over to you.
Thank you so much, Deepak. Hi, good afternoon. My question to you is, how does one go ahead from understanding the philosophy of oneness intellectually, being aware of it as a first step? I think most of us have today become aware of that, to actually experiencing it, like corporal experience of oneness, whether it's in meditation or outside of meditation, such that you embody that oneness and becomes a way of conducting yourself and living every single day.
Right. As I said, the starting point is experiencing that power within you. Once you experience that power within you, you start acknowledging the power everywhere around you. That is the starting point. And when you see that, the world changes. You experience so much of joy within you. Now you are in a different trance, absolutely different trance. And you don't want to come back. Once you spend time there, you don't want to come back to the absence of oneness mode. That becomes your way of life. And you will experience once you
Did we lose it?
said. So what happens is, in this entire process, we get disconnected. So you need a reconnection again. Now, meditation, as you mentioned, you can actually have an open eye. So you don't have to close your eye and meditate. Okay. Once you are aligned and you know your alignment, okay, you can meditate. Like I'm talking to you, I can still be in the meditation mode right now. Because I parked my mind as my slave.
Sure.
Right? And my soul, the divine power is connecting. At that point of time, you are an open meditation center. So, as I said, begin with acknowledging the power within you. And what works well, if you really want to put this to a next level, gratitude is the first step of life, because you start then acknowledging that you have that divine power with you. This faculty is given to you to serve the community, serve everybody, that too unconditionally, and that too in full glory, not just any value addition. So now your mind is continuously parked in excellence. How do I make it better? How do I do this better? How do I add higher value? And once you get into that mode, that is the trance mode of oneness, and that's where you live your purpose.
All right. Thank you so much for that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Great questions and great answers. So I don't see any hand which is up. So if anybody has a question, please raise your hand and ask. Hina, go ahead.
Thank you, Deepak sir. Good afternoon. My question to our speaker today is, power, position, and role assigned by the society robs the privilege from each one of us, time and again, to feel that oneness with the universe and the people of the globe. We are currently living in a world where we can see this clearly, of how in the name of God, religion, and power, all the beautiful diversity with which we were born have today become the reasons of, I'll say, terrorism or deaths, mass murders. So, how would you suggest should these world leaders be enlightened as people and citizens of the world what we can do to bring a change?
So, as I said, education. Now, we have a flawed education system, right? We are not designed to learn this. Somehow we've been thrown upon and we've been, as a human race, learning this and then put into this capital cycle. So, these two things have gone wrong completely for the human race as of now. And no wonder, with over 4 trillion books and articles on leadership, the world has such amazing leaders today. And so this is not leadership, right? So self-alignment, again, self-realization, what are they actually trying to achieve? They are not clear, right? So once you are parked in absence of oneness, you're going to self-destroy this body. So that's the mindset, and we see that mindset being operated throughout. Okay, so what we can do? I think we have the power to show them how we can live oneness. And there are examples who have lived oneness and showed that this is the method. But unfortunately, they do not get the prime time and the narrative that they should be getting in. So if collectively people come together and demand this, I see no reason, because even they understand what faults they are making. They also have the conscious system. And as simple as that, you walk into a nice departmental store, okay, and you have no intention to shoplift at that point of time, but suddenly you like something which you can't afford, and a thought passes by, nobody's watching me, let me just take this, it's okay, I've never done this ever in my life, let me do this once, just once. The minute you lift that and put that into your pocket, okay, your heartbeat improves, okay, and suddenly there's a hand of a friend that comes on your back, your heart will be in your mouth. So humans are designed to have consciousness. It's just that they can park themselves into absence of oneness in that comfort zone where they think they have ethical power. The point that you're trying to say is having ethical power over others actually doesn't exist. They should actually look at a human body. Now, this is an exercise that I do with kids and everybody. If you don't mind, I want to just explain your point through a human body mode. Which part of the human body is more important? Brain, lungs, heart? What do you think is more important than the other one?
Brain. I
Heart.
believe brain will be the
No
most.
way, no way. You can't point and say that one part is important. The whole human exists because all of these work in harmony,
All are
in
important.
oneness. Yeah.
Yes.
I
So
do.
there is no ethical power given to anybody. Okay.
Okay.
So let's do this one more time. Suppose you sing very well, and tomorrow, should I say White House? No, I'll drop White House today. I don't want to give that example today. Suppose you've been invited to a charity home and you're going to be given a honor to be the best singer of the world. Okay. In your bed in the night time, you are all thinking about the award that you're going to win tomorrow. Okay. And suddenly there's a conflict between the voice box and the lungs. And the voice box says, tomorrow I'm going to be the person who will get the best singer award. The lung says, no, only if I blew that air in the right format, I would get that award. And then the heart comes in the play and says, only if I provided that oxygen and the blood that you would breathe and things like that. And the brain said, just because I remember the tune, you could sing. So who do you think gets the award?
It's the
Everyone.
cumulative.
Right. So in a human body, it's the unison that is awarded. So in unison, you are awarded, rewarded, and punished too. So for whatever mistakes a person is making, directly, indirectly, everybody will be punished for it. I'm repeating again. This is what Martin Luther King spoke. If I had a handle of Trump today, my only message to the world would have been this: that just go back to your ancestors and just read this line once again, where he mentioned very clearly what affects one directly affects others indirectly. So we are all part of it. In oneness, even we are hurt. In oneness, even we've lost our families. The sorrow remains common. It's not, you cannot be in a mode where say, because it's not happened to you, you are not connected. We are all interconnected. and interdependent. And that the leaders should understand. So how would leadership come in? Only if they know who in them is leading what in them. If the greed is leading them, they are going to be greedy. If unethicalness is leading them, that is going to be driven by them. So they have to understand themselves better. So the reverse choice is that collectively, if you choose such leaders, this is the output that you're going to get.
I get that, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much for your response.
Thank you, Hina, for asking that question. Megha has raised her hand again. Go ahead, Megha.
Yeah, so I have a follow-up question on my earlier question. So, you had mentioned about collective karma.
Yes.
But what I believe is that we are only in charge of our own self. We can't change anybody else. Although we can always influence by the way we behave or we present ourselves. And everybody is on a journey. They will evolve at their own good time when their time is right, or when they face some situation or come across something. So how collective karma works here? Like, what is your answer to that?
So I'll make it simple. It's a large subject on karma because I will have to destroy what you know to re-establish what is the truth through oneness. Okay, it will take a lot of time, but I can help you with immediate understanding of it. That we know that as whatever we do is through the divine power. Okay, the power lets us do things. This is a common understanding. There's no conflict in it, at least. Okay, so I will say there are 3 stages to it, which has not been explained in textbooks, and you can take this as a learning. First is a witness stage where you only are observer. Okay, and you know that the things are moving around you, and you become only observant. That's what the first step of yoga was, also become observant. Okay, the second stage is that you become conduit, because now you're fit to add value. When you are fit to add value to anything, family, friends, whatever, okay, your own self, you become a conduit, because then the energy flows through you to achieve those tasks, because there are universal forces that run us and there is no conflict on that. And the last stage is when you become a catalyst. Okay, so does everyone become a catalyst? I would say not really, because some people just spend time in being witness and being in conduit. It's only when you spend enough time, you automatically become a catalyst, which is like a satsang where people come in, there are people who influence, like we are having a session right now. So there are 3 stages for sure. And in that catalyst stage is where collective karma happens, because you are able to influence, right? And if you go to, I'm sure there's a amazing speaker who speaks on Bhagavad Gita. I have some reverse questions, okay? And just think about it, and whatever answers you get will be bonus for you, because me explaining everything is not the right way to do it. In oneness, you got to build your own lens to get your own answers. If I start prescribing and then I'm creating followers for myself. And again, I'm creating a cult, and tomorrow this will become a religion. Tomorrow, somebody will come up and say, oneness is a religion again. No, it is just a fundamental truth. It cannot become a cult also. It cannot become an organization also. Hence, there is no organization for oneness. People can label it and they can say that this is an organization, but in reality, it is not possible. It is everybody has to build their lens of oneness. So the point that I wanted to make here was, actually, I lost it. Honestly, I lost the point I wanted to make. Can you just repeat your question again?
The questions you are going to mention on the oneness for us to find out.
You were
Reverse questions
Yeah,
to
okay. On Bhagavad
Reverse
Gita,
questions, yes.
So there's a very simple statement that says, Karam kar, par phal ki ichha mat kar. This is a standard statement that we've heard many times. Now see, what happens is when you read normally and without the spiritual grammar and without the lens of oneness, the perceived truth could be millions. It could be in different formats. Okay. So do you think a divine power is going to tease you and tell you that beta aam hai, lekin khane nahi milega?
No. You have to enjoy
Think
the
about why the divine power will play with your mind and tell you there is a phal, there is an aam, but you can't eat it. It's not for you. Think about it. I don't want to answer it right now. Just think about it. So then somebody tells you that karam kar, but fal ki ichha mat kar. What does it really mean?
Keep
We have
on
never
doing
come-
good things in your life, but do not worry about the outcome. Whether you are going to get benefited of it or not, doesn't matter. But you should keep on doing the good things which are going to benefit others and not only you. But in turn, you are getting the benefits, maybe not immediately, but at a later stage also.
So let's start an organization which has no incentive, no reward. How many people work for that organization?
No one in this world at present.
And the divine power is telling you the same thing, and you believe in that. It's because we have not understood the spiritual grammar. It actually meant something else. Now, my only request is just think about it. Don't expect an answer from me. I know the answer because I thought about it, and it just came out naturally. I had not prepared for it. As I said, every time I remain absent, the answers are brilliant. Whenever I'm present, I forget. Like I forgot the question right now. So when the mind operates, this is the problem that happens. It has limitation. Okay, but when mind does not operate, the inner power has all the divine consciousness and answers, and those answers come out very easily. Like a child would actually throw up anything bitter. So if you give any bitter item to a child, it would throw immediately. The child does not know that all the poisons actually taste bitter, but the divine consciousness knows that all the poisons are bitter. So the minute something that comes to our bitter in the mouth, we throw up, unless we build a taste for it like coffee.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I have a question, the follow-up question, which I talked about the spirituality earlier,
Yeah.
and we did talk about it that we have come with a purpose for our lives.
Hmm.
So during this period, till the time we are alive on this planet Earth, the so-called planet Earth, if we do not realize what is the purpose of our life, can we say that we have put our lives into drain and we have not achieved what we had come for in this world?
Yes. So just imagine the human body, and there is a group of cell which gets influenced with excess sugar, does not have any role to play, okay, does not any function to play, okay, and starts feeding on the neighboring cell and starts multiplying over and over again, and it converts into a tumor. It then starts eating the organ itself which it survived on. Then it says, okay, fine, I'm done with this organ. I want to take a trip throughout the body. Okay, so metastasis happens. It travels across the body and stops the functioning of the entire human cells, and until it has ensured that the body is dead, it grew. So it had all the fun, all the love, all the greed, all the maja that cell had while it was not performing anything. But what it actually achieved in reality is killing the very existence of that entire body where it thrived on. That is how humans are. So if you do not have a purpose, so every cell of a lung performs the role of lungs. Every cell of a heart performs the role of a heart. Every cell of a brain performs the role of a brain, right? So you were not born here to take the advantage of the resources. You are here to find your own purpose and live that purpose. No two raindrops are same. No two leaves are same. You were born unique. You were given the talent. You are an extraordinary piece. But unfortunately, we decided to park ourselves in absence of oneness because that's where the comfort zone is. And that's how we lead our lives.
Okay. And once again, I would just like to know that the questions that you are mentioning about oneness, is it we discuss only one? Are there many more questions to find that oneness, or it was the only that karma kar or fal ki chinta mat kar is
Okay,
the
so you're
only
I think
question, or are there multiple questions to it?
and yeah, so I can come up with a lot of questions. Like I spoke on, so the morning quotes is like a entertainment for me. Good morning quotes. So now one exercise that I will give you, if you can follow this, you will then understand the real meaning of my presentation. So every quote that comes to you in the morning, read normally, okay, enjoy that quote, then remove your specs, then wear your specs of oneness and read again. You will see a drastic difference between both the quotes. all the courts that appealed you were actually ego massaging. They were all parked from absence of oneness, which actually satisfied your insecurity, gave you a understanding of prejudice. अरे उसका ये है तो ऐसा है. So it's all ego massage content. The real content actually exists in oneness, and then you will be able to write your original stuff. So whatever I could write on my LinkedIn page and the place was never copied from any text. I have not been inspired from anywhere. It's just that when I saw, like I'll give you an example. One of my recent posts was on, yeah. So don't chase the butterflies. Okay, build a garden, and you will attract them. Brilliant quote, right?
Yes.
Right. It is an ego massage quote. It is not out of oneness. So we accept it, and we have forwarded this message. You will see millions of people forwarding this. And then what's wrong? Rather than attracting a butterfly or chasing a butterfly, I am building a garden. Rupani ji, what are you saying? I have built a beautiful garden and you don't like the beautiful garden and the butterflies. So then I question, what is your intent? You are running after butterflies. That is your true intent. Your intent was never to build a garden. Okay, so your intent was a problem. Point one. Point two, how do you build a garden? You build a garden with beautiful roses. Do you have any space for weeds? No, you will cut it off. But do you know what weeds do? Before any plant would come up, the weed is the person who comes, collects the soil, creates the micronutrients, quickly grows up in no time with less sunlight, less water, and creates an ecosystem for pollination. Okay? And stays, weathers all the difficult weather. Why? Because whenever cycles are harsh, these simple flowers, they go out of growth. And this is the weed that again allows repollination for those, so that the next cycle of flowers can come in. But how do you build your garden? Would you have space for weeds? So in oneness, we are all one as one ecosystem. Not just beautiful flowers. What is your intention to attract? Right? That's where the joke. I would call it a joke. I don't know whether I should call it a joke or I should put it differently. Forgive me for this particular word. When Adam and Eve were there was a Garden of Eden.
Yes.
And the Garden of Eden said that do not pluck the fruit from the tree of knowledge. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the minute a human is told, do not pluck the fruit of knowledge. Okay.
The first thing.
Instinct is to pluck.
Yes.
Okay. Now, why knowledge but? Because when you acquire that knowledge, you want to attract all the resources towards you. You want to attract all the butterflies towards you. That is your true. That's the problem.
Okay. Okay. So we can say in short that knowledge is not to build yourself, but it is trying to destroy you.
Yes, that's the truth. So the knowledge has to be utilized for the betterment. Science and technology are double-edged swords.
Yes.
There are people who are killing others using technology.
Yes. So AI
Same
is
money
built
can be used to
properly.
build. Which conflict cannot be over with communication and building? People
Yes.
tell me that there is violence. I don't support any violence ever. But if there is violence, it is a signal of stress in a human body.
Yes.
Okay, even you get a pimple on your face, you don't like it. But it's trying to tell you there's something wrong within you. So what do? You destroy the pimple, or you treat yourself correctly? It's the mindset. So where you're parked, if you're parked in absence of oneness, you are going to destroy it. You are going to be a very strong surgeon over there. But if you go to a real doctor, he will try and cure you. He will try and treat you correctly. He will treat the human body correctly. So I think we are lacking leaders. We are lacking the real empathy, and that is the reason why we are in this stage right now.
Yes. And so we can.
Today's topic. Hold on, Amit. Hold on. Today's topic is such that we can keep on going till the cows come home, and everybody can wait. But it's a Sunday afternoon. Remember, it's close to 1:40. We are way beyond our normal time. But let me assure everybody that this is not the only session we will have with Mr. Rupani. The way we have got into the topic, the subject, the questions, the answers, the replies. This is there will be another session, a physical or an online session, possibly both. And we will, instead of saying take this forward, explore this further. Why? Because this is the only episode in the last 289 where I didn't ask a question. So I cannot allow that to happen. So we will close today's session. We will park today's session and we will see to it that this conversation continues. But since Hina is there and she's visible and her mic is on, Hina, a few lines before we close.
So actually today I'm
जो भी कुछ याद आ रहा हो, कुछ भी जो भी याद आ रहा हो, Hina.
I'm sorry, Deepak ji, today I'm absolutely blank.
Wonderful. We are all bathing in that oneness. Yeah.
What has been told, it
Yes.
just what Megha asked कि हम अकेले में दुनिया के अंदर क्या value कर सकते हैं. Even if you just give a true compliment, just the way today Rupani ji has shared the knowledge with us, he has influenced so many of us. And what he said, that if you keep that knowledge to yourself and you do not put it into action, it's of no value. And that's how we can general things. So जो आप ही कई बार गानों में कहते हैं अपने लफ्जों के साथ के जब हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन एक साथ तो दुनिया बदलेगी बात.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Again, whether the song is relevant over here or not, Gana to banta hi hai.
Yes.
And this just came to my mind that parsu raat ko I was just watching and the song just popped up in my feed. I have some 50-60-year-old song with Balraj Sahni singing. May or may not be relevant, but oneness की बात कर रहे हैं, spirituality की बात कर रहे हैं, universe की बात कर रहे हैं, God realization, maybe self realization, self actualization की बात कर रहे हैं. तू प्यार का सागर है, तू प्यार का सागर है, तेरी एक बूंद के प्यासे हम. He said that every drop of rain is different, but in the end every drop of water goes and merges with that one ocean, that large ocean. Whether it's a physical ocean, whether it's a spiritual ocean, whether it is something else, everything goes and becomes one. At this point, I would like to thank Mr. Rupani for taking his time out on a Sunday afternoon, speaking with us on his topic, on his subject, which we believe that he is an expert at. So whether he would like to call or want him to be known as an expert or not, that is another point. But as I said, this conversation will continue. Yes. Oneness.
Don't hold the finger at all.
Yeah, don't hold the finger. Exactly. So we will continue this conversation. This cannot be the end of this conversation. We will definitely meet again online as well as offline. And here's a reminder to you all. I mentioned this before. In 11 weeks, it is going to be the 300th episode of Bloom. It's going to be a celebration. It's going to be a physical event. More details will come up, but stay tuned. Thank you everybody for joining us. And I hope that all of you join us next Sunday on the 290th non-stop Sunday Bloom Talk Show. God bless us all. Bye everyone.
No fire round from Payalji today.
Something.
We are beyond time, so maybe I'll take it offline with Om.
Yeah. No. In the next session.
Yes.
We'll be missing otherwise if you take it offline.
No. जाने नहीं देंगे. एक बार हाथ पकड़ा है तो जाने नहीं देंगे.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone. Thank you. Bye for joining. Thank you.